Alrighty, welcome back everybody to another AWash stream. We've got a semi-final match for the Indie Gaming League tonight, and I apologize for going live for a second there and then having to cut it short. I logged out of Twitch and then realized that I wasn't multi-stream, or I logged out of Twitch, logged back in to Streamlabs through Twitch, and then realized it wasn't set to restream anymore. So I closed it down real quick so I could change that, and now we're live on all of our platforms. I see a couple of you have already dropped follows, so shout out to It's Rubik's, Vipa, Cobalt, and Juicy, all of you for the follows. Glad to see ya here. And yeah, we've just got a couple minutes until we hop into this first match. And let me toss up the rosters for everybody, and we'll get our contest going as well. So for those of you who are relatively new, don't forget that I do have the Stream Elements loyalty program. So those of you who are just dropping follows, you've got 300 loyalty points to spend. You can do exclamation point points in the chat, I believe, if you're watching through Twitch, and then you should be able to see that you have some points. And we're going to get a contest. It works the same as channel points, for those of you who are wondering. It works exactly the same as channel points, just not directly through Twitch. So I'll get that going as well for us. Let's see. I gotta log in again. Yeah. But for those of you who are kind of aware of what's been going on in the content creator space with a couple big names going to YouTube gaming, I do stream there as well. So you can do exclamation point socials if you want to link to the YouTube channel. But check it out. And of course, all of my VODs get saved there for eternity as well. So if you want to look back at this match 1 or 2 weeks later, or I'm sorry, after the initial 14 days is up for Twitch, you're more than welcome to check it out there. Sweet. All right, and then all right, there is our contest. Who will win this next game? Is it going to be Ichor Ares or Exploit? How is Tater the best striker on Ares? I don't know. It's by a pretty convincing margin as well. 1.38 goals per game. And of course, that could be because they haven't played a whole lot. But judging by the numbers, they don't look all that simple. So a couple games is probably an understatement of how much Tater has played. Ichor Ares is going to be the blue team. I guess I should specify that. But Ichor Ares is going to be the blue team. Exploit is going to be the orange. And actually, you can't see it on the unfortunate Frieza. I know some people are the people who already were following before. Oh my goodness. The people who are already following before don't get like a bonus 300, unfortunately, but every 10 minutes you get 50. So you maybe not this time, but for the next time you will certainly be able to join in. I see we've got a couple people in already. Well, I'm gonna get this lobby created so we can get underway with our match as soon as possible. I know it's getting a bit late for some of us, at least those on the East Coast. And to Seer as well for the follow. I'm not sure if I got you. And also to Coffee Noob for the follow. Nice to have so many of you with us this evening for a very exciting semi-final matchup. And all right, we've got that match, or we've got the lobby set up. I am going to, I am already on Do Not Disturb on Discord, I believe. There we go, just to be sure. Let's see, there. And to Zeko Gaming, or Zeko Gaming, whichever one it is. Shout out to you for dropping the follow as well, and for your free 300 shark teeth. Okay. So, got 4 people entering into this Zico, gotcha. So Zico Gaming. And it looks like they've also bet 50 Shark Teeth on Exploit. So got quite a few entrants already. 700 is the current fund for this match. And dude, it's Fifi. Is that maybe your is that your alt account, Frieza? Or is it totally unrelated? What's up, Nate? Exclamation point points should be the command. And then if you want to know all the commands that you can use regarding the points or not, just in general, you can do exclamation point commands. That'll help you out as well, because I believe there are ways to, like, do slot machines in the chat. I haven't seen anybody try it. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't like retroactively give people who are already following any points. So if it was my choice, I think I actually can, but that's just a lot of people to go through, and I'm getting ready to focus on the match. So unfortunate, but every 10 minutes you do get 50 points. So hey, if you all stick around for the 40, 50, maybe an hour, 60 minutes that we're gonna have tonight, then you could have a decent amount of points to bet on your championship week match if you're able to get that on stream as well. So get those final bets in less than a minute. And to Tiago BFM for the raid of 5. Tiago, I hope you had a fantastic stream tonight. Thanks for bringing everybody here for more IGL semifinal action. And I believe that we are going to be getting started in just a moment. And for those of you who haven't checked out Tiago yet, definitely go click on their profile in the chat and go drop him a follow. Go give him a look. As one of our few and far between South American IGL casters, actually maybe our only one, if I'm not mistaken. But Tiago getting in on the betting action as well. So 800 Shark Teeth in the pot. 3 people so far voting in favor of Ichor Ares, and 2 in favor of Exploit. Oh. Then officially I'm the only one. All right, well, there you go. So Tiago, one of our only South American IGL caster, but 2 friends of mine have also casted for IGL through BR. Oh, okay, perfect. So officially the only IGL caster that we have from South America, but there's definitely a couple more on the Beyond Ranked platform. If you haven't checked that out as well, it's a great place to find myself and other community casters to get your matches, your tournaments, your events casted. We have an extra player in the lobby, so I'm just waiting on them to hop out. Let's see. I believe they're from Ichor, yeah. What tier is this? This is a tier 2 matchup, so this is going to be your Grand Champ 1s and your Champ and your Champ 3s. Okay, and now we have everybody. Little typo there. But all right, hope you all had a chance to get your bets in. I hope you all had a chance to take a look at these stats, and we will be discussing them a little bit more as we go on. But now we finally have our semifinal match between Ichor Ares and Exploit. And to Maleficent Matt for dropping the follow. Shout out to you and your 300 Shark Teeth that you can't get in on this bet, but we're going to try to have a couple more matches throughout the weekend. We'll see what happens. But for now, we will focus on the 2 teams that are currently on the pitch. For Ichor Ares, you've got Temps, the Frieza, and Worden. And then for Exploit, the 7-1 team coming into this match, you've got Loki, Lalu, and Seer. And Temps is going to have the first clear for the blue side of Ares. Worden is going to pick it up at midfield, wins the 50, so it's going to continue deep into the orange half. Can they make something of this first minute? Maybe get a shot on target, maybe two, maybe even a goal. Well, this attack doesn't look like it's going to be fast-paced from the get-go, unlike some other teams that like to get racing out of the gates quickly. And oh my goodness, the raids just keep on coming to NYCK, raiding with the party of one. How you doing, NYCK? How's your stream? But Worden gets us started with the goal scoring. We've got Ichor Ares on the board, 1 up with 1:08 off the clock. Absolutely, Thiago, the double raid coming in very quickly. And just in time to catch a significant majority of this match. We're only 1.5 minutes into game number 1. And a reminder to all of you all, and actually I just realized that one of my overlays is incorrect, because this is our best of 7s now for the Indie Gaming League. We're out of the best of 5s. These teams, they will have extra opportunities to get themselves back into the series if they fall behind. In previous weeks you had the three games and then it was over. This time you get 4, so a little bit extra time for our slow starters to really get into this. But it could also be more time for the teams to just continue heating up. And so you will have to be on your game for the entirety of the match. Next play had a decent chance there, but wasn't able to put the finishing touch on it. And Ares is going to try to transition out. The Frieza got the touch at midfield. Worden trying to get the drop down, but it's blocked away by Lalu. Seer gets dunked by Temps, and it's a clear away by Loki to Seer, who pinches it along the sidewall. It's tough for the Frieza, but they're able to get one final touch across. And now it's Exploit that are on the offensive. Loki going for the shot. There's 2 blue players in net, and the Frieza gonna get the touch to push it away from the net. Lalu keeps it on the blue half, and they're gonna keep this attack going. They've got to pass one. They try to sneak it past the second along that back wall. Loki leaves it for Seer, and it's going to be a shot right down the middle. And it's going to be a close miss for the Frieza, who thought their teammates were going to be able to clear it out on that half, but a quick turnaround barely mistimes it. And it's 1-1 between Ichor Ares and Exploit. Good man, glad to be here. Glad to see you here, NYCK. And for those of you who are not aware, or actually probably no one here is aware because they just started it, but NYCK also relatively new to the streaming, so they also stream Rocket League like myself. So if you want to give some support to an up-and-coming streamer, be sure to check on NYCK's profile, and you can click on that in the chat, drop them a follow. I'm sure it would mean a lot to them and to myself, as they are a very good friend of mine. But just like that, Exploit has gotten a very quick double, and they've put themselves in the lead of this first game. Ichor Ares, now they've got some work to do. They gave up the 1 goal lead that they got within the first minute and some change, but now they're on the back foot. They've got to find one more, but they still got a decent amount of time. Worden, I like the pass inside. There just barely wasn't enough power on it to get it to one of their teammates, although a double commit from Ichor Ares not going to be helpful. Seer's not going to get a strong shot on either. Temps gets the block on Loki at midfield, and Lalu's got the touch away, and Seer? I assume it's Seer. It could be Sire, I guess. But I'm going to go with Seer until somebody corrects me in the chat. So a couple players 50 in front of the blue net. Worden staying there, just covering the angles, making sure that if a pass shot goes on target, it's not going to be an easy goal. For Temps, it's a good clear out wide, and they're able to beat Seer, who's reading the miss, but underestimated the skill level of these two Tier 2 Division 7 teams. And attempts trying to play it out of the back. They've rolled it along their corner. They're going to lose the 50 to Lalu, but it allows Frieza to come in. But Lalu gets a second 50, and Worden cuts it out. Gets it all the way to the middle line. Loki following it up. Can they get the touch? Oh, they might go for the doomsday, but they cannot stay behind it. They got it behind it initially, but the ball kept moving, and it ended up being a just side touch for the player. a trade of demos between the two sides on the blue half. Seer has to get up, and Loki is going to help them out there. The Frieza pushes it to the corner. Could be one last opportunity for Ichor Ares if they can go on the transition. The Frieza looking for the touch to the middle, and Temp's going to send it towards the target. Worden pops it up. It's still a viable option. The 0-second goal of the Frieza keeps it up, and Loki gets the block. The Frieza can't get there in time, and Exploit will take game number 1 with 2 relatively quick goals back to back to turn this match around. Ichor Ares originally had the 1-goal lead, but now they find themselves a goal, or I'm sorry, a game down in this series. And you're absolutely right, Rubik's. It was a great match, and this promises, I believe, to be a great series as well. Despite the stats not really showing how close of a match this could have been, with Exploit getting 9 shots and only being forced into 1 save, whereas Ichor Ares were only able to get 2 shots on target and make 5 saves. I know that this Ichor Ares side is capable of better, and they will show better, I'm sure, later on in this series. But they did manage to get the early goal, and they looked for decent amounts of the game that they could hold on to it, but the quick double from Exploit was ultimately the difference. But overall, I thought Ichor Ares held themselves well, and they're going to continue to build into this, because like I said at the beginning, these teams, they have extra time to get a good read on the team, on the other team, how they want to play, make proper adjustments. There's no need to panic for either of these teams. Even with Exploit in the lead, they don't need to overextend themselves to try to hang on to this lead. They can continue to play their game, and if it doesn't work out for 1 or 2 games, then they can make that switch. Those switches not going to be as urgent, and it really changes the dynamic of the series a lot as we continue forward. But for Exploit, they've got the 1-game lead. They're going to look to build on that, but they will have to hold off against Ichor Ares, who didn't do all that well on the offensive end the first game, but will come back much better. And there we go, updating the scoreboard. So we've got the appropriate overlays and the scoreboard updated, as Lalu tries to beat Worden, but is unsuccessful in their attempts. Seer is able to dribble 1, attempts with the back pass to the Frieza, but it's blocked by an orange defender. Lalu putting it towards the net. Worden saved in, or forced into an easy save. We've got Worden and Loki on the 50. Lalu's 50, not great, as Temps is able to keep it in the orange half. The Frieza, the flick over, but it's blocked by the orange side. And Exploit, they're gonna have to put up a couple defensive, or decent defensive plays here, as Ichor Ares trying to gain a little bit of momentum going forward. Although they might be pegged back themselves. It's not a great touch from the Frieza. Lalu is up, goes for the tap down, but it's off the crossbar and out. And Ichor Ares lucky to not get punished on the transition. And Exploit maybe finding themselves a bit unlucky to not capitalize completely on that opportunity. But here come Exploit once again. Lalu trying to set themselves up for the double tap, but not enough pace on the ball to be able to reach it. Lalu trying to be a nuisance and maybe get a redirect coming from out of the frame of reference of the last defenders. Worden going for the touchdown field. No follow-up off the wall, and it's going to be Lalu who's picked up possession, cuts it to the outside, tries to get it back inside, but Temps reads the play well. They've got it past 1. They also get the demo on Loki. I thought the Temps was maybe a bit slow there. So I'm not quite sure how they got that demo, but maybe they just barely kept up enough momentum. Ares don't need stats to win, Cobalt. That's certainly a way to look at it. A lot of times we see teams that have some pretty insane save numbers, but it just means that their midfield game isn't all that good. They like to hit on the transition. I know even last week in our quarterfinals, we saw one or two teams that were exactly like that. Had okay stats, but and the goals maybe not all that high. The saves could be pretty up there as well, but the teams were just so deadly on the counter, and were very good at playing their own game, playing in a way that they know they can be successful. As Worden just can't get the ball in the back of the net. Thames finally is able to slot it across the line, as Worden really should have had that goal. And not only that, cleared the ball themselves, but sparing their blushes was Thames. And for Ichor Ares, it is a 1-goal lead from them. But can they hold off against the Exploit offense once again? Orange side looking to go immediately on the offensive, but a double commit is going to cause it to sputter out a little bit. The back pass to Worden allows it to move forward once again, and Worden, light touch to the corner, and a great save from Sear. Lalu and Sear could go downfield on the transition, as both of the Frieza's teammates were downfield and struggling to get back into good defensive positions. Looking to pop up to the ceiling. You're going for a bump as well. They might have sat on Worden, but ultimately Ares is able to get this ball away. I don't think that the Frieza was all that happy about the cut from their teammate. They might have had a shot on net had their teammate not pushed it out of their reach. Lalu's demo on the Frieza could open up an opportunity. Loki getting up for it, and it's not on target. Temp's gonna bump it away for now. And this is very similar to Ichor Ares in game number 1. They didn't have all that great of offense, but they found the goal, and their hope is to just hang on to it. For Exploit, they're playing from behind yet again. We know that they can... Oh my goodness, that was a horror touch from Lalu. But it does roll off the post. Thames coming in to finish off this game, and they just can't do it. The wayward finishing from both teams, and in particular from Ichor Ares, very nearly punishing them. But they were able to get a goal and hang on for the remainder of the match. And now the series... Excuse me. Now the series will be tied at 1 apiece, as Exploit just couldn't get any goals across the line. Don't worry, Juicy. Just don't let it happen again. Both teams taking their time getting ready for the match, trying to figure out what the next steps forward are. Usually in IGL matches, we're getting through this ready phase pretty quickly, but it took a little bit for Worden, I believe it was Loki, to get ready. So maybe the team's just taking those extra seconds to discuss what they needed to with their teammates, figure out what the best adjustment is to make in the second game, and really make sure that it is a good one. There's still plenty of time left to go in this series, so even if they get it wrong this time, it's not even the danger zone, really, because it'll only be game 3. But of course, nobody really wants to play the full best of 7, save themselves some nerves, some energy, and maybe some sweat even. Although I know for all of us watching at home, and myself included, I wouldn't mind a best of 7 for a semifinal matchup. Let's talk about Ichor Ares' season. Never mind. Exploit wants to steal the show with a goal at the 33-second mark. Sear puts it top left corner, and Loki almost getting in the way of it. But it's an early start for Exploit, the first time that they've been able to score first in a series. Or I'm sorry, in a game in this series. We'll see what kind of effect that has on them, especially going on the offense as they might just be able to stack a couple goals, build some offensive pressure and momentum. Although the double commit from Lalu and Loki, even though neither of them, or I'm sorry, even though both of them didn't go after the ball, they were occupying that same space. And a brilliant bump from Seer as they continue their push downfield after the pass, completely pushing Thames out of a saving position. And it's a quick double for Exploit within the first minute to get themselves on the board. And just like I said, these goals will stack up very quickly and very convincingly. Loki winning the 50 and Lalu following it up before Worden has a chance to get up. And for Exploit, this is a very strong start from them. And they might just have put it out of reach of Ichor Ares within the first minute. And we'll see what kind of response the Ichor team has. But since Exploit is performing so well, we'll actually talk about Exploit's season first. They are 7-1 right now, and the only loss that they had was actually to Ichor Ares. Believe it or not, despite how close this series has been, so at least in the first two games, Ichor Ares swept Exploit in week number 2. And Exploit, they have dominated pretty much every game since then. As they continue to dominate game number 3 as well, Seer getting on the board once again. Loki with a huge 50 on the Frieza. Worden not in a great defensive position to follow it up for their teammates. And now 4-0 is the scoreline in favor of Exploits. And hey, it's Nate. You know, that is the way it goes sometimes. I try to make some points that I think are good, or just give the audience a little bit more information about these sides, because it's not like the divisions are just too big for fans like ourselves to follow each of the teams. So we usually just follow the teams that maybe we know we'll end up playing against, and even then the interest kind of dies out once you end up playing them. And then of course following the team that you support as well. But I'd like to give everybody the information to know exactly how these teams stack up against each other. And Thames is finally going to pull a goal back for Ichor Ares. There's still almost half the game left to go. So this nice dribble play from Thames could be the start of a comeback for Ichor Ares. We'll see what it leads to. But besides the loss against Ichor Ares for Exploit, they have been pretty dominant in all their other games. And Worden is going to make it too for Ichor Ares, so that it might be this really could be a comeback on here. Thames best player on Ares, no cap. Well, it certainly looked like it with that dribble play, but now we've got one of their teammates on the board as well, as they've cut the deficit in half from 4-2 so far. A bye-week match, or a bye-match win over Red Wolf was a 3-0, and then follow-up wins against Mos Eisley, Swaginator, Battle Royal, Trident Gaming, and who am I? Oh, actually, a week 4 win over Battle Royal, and then Trident Gaming, and then week 7 wins again over oh my goodness, a second win over Mos Eisley in week 7, and then coming up against Agent Sugans in week 8. All of those wins have been 3-0 or 3-1 for Exploit. They have not had to go the full length of a series before. They haven't had to go more than 4 games. Even their loss, it was a quick 3, so they just got it over with. They got it out of the way, put it behind them, and then dominated ever since then. And Exploit does come in as the better seed, and they've now put 5 on the board. So stopping that Ichor momentum, they might be able to find the 6th one here. Loki carries it downfield themselves. They've got a playmaker medal to their name, and now they've got a 2nd goal for themselves as well. I'll also try to pull up the challenge bracket for all of you as well, so you can see the complete pathways that these teams have taken from a more visual standpoint instead of me just talking about it. And you can see all the other teams that have been in this division who have made the top 16. Oh, whoops. There we go. So Lalu's going to make it a 7th. They could go for the Barca against Ichor Ares, but Lalu, it's capping off a very convincing win over Ichor Ares in game number 3. Remember, Ichor Ares, they swept Exploit, and maybe thought that this game was going to be a little bit easier than it has turned out to be so far. And the physical play is coming out once again from Exploit. And the pinpoint finishing is absolutely taking Ichor Ares by storm. And it is now 8-2 for Exploit. A hat trick for Lalu. Stop, they're already dead, as Cobalt says in the chat. Not wrong. And I'm sure Ichor Ares would just love for this game to be over with. They don't want to see another goal explosion on the side of Exploit. Don't have to watch through it anymore. But Seer puts it in the corner and then gets the narrow angle. The net is just being left wide open. Even these tight angles from Exploit, they're putting them on target. They're not making any mistakes about it. And for most teams, those shots would be easily saved, but for Ichor Ares, they're just really struggling to get stops on the orange offense. Okay, so we've got game number 3 over and done with. This is probably the worst that it gets for Ichor Ares. 8 shots still for Ichor, but they only put away 2. And their defense was just non-existent. 12 shots for Exploit, and 9 of them went to the back of the net. They did make 4 saves, and somehow the Exploit was still able to create extra goals out of it. But hopefully that is the worst that it gets for Ichor Ares. I certainly hope so, because the way that these first 2 games were is more of what I want to see. The close, tightly fought action. But we'll see if we can get more of that, or if Exploit has just built up all their momentum and they're going to keep rolling with it, just storm their way through the next couple games. We will find out in the next 5 minutes how the momentum really has changed, how it has shifted between these 2 teams. Lalu might be going for an early double tap, an early dunk. They've got it in a central position, but there was nobody following it up closely. Frieza to the side, Temps is not in the position to handle it. Seer, almost sets up their teammate. It was very close, but the Ares defense able to hang on to it for now. What you talking about, Vipa? Telling me about this scoreboard? Never mind, I cap. You know it. I'm playing. But yes, we do have the updated scoreboard. It's a little bit different in that it now has 4 slots as opposed to 3 that we're used to seeing for most of the season. And it is a reminder that we could be in for the long haul. This could be a full best of 7, even if we get a couple overtimes in. That could extend this game even longer. Judging by the way games 1 and 2 went, overtime is certainly not out of the picture. Still a strong possibility at this point. But, oh, it's a close one for Loki. And it will go post and in. I know. Oh my goodness, what was that follow-up touch? Loki's shot initially going wide, but they managed to get a second touch on it with the nose of their car. And that sent it just central enough that it went off the post and in. I'll admit, Cobalt, that does look like a pretty lucky goal for Exploit. They have played well in this last game, and nice defensive stop there from Sire. And the offense, the pressure is continuing to be shown by the orange side. But for Exploit, for that goal, that I would admit is a couple good graces all falling their way at the exact same time. And Worden just can't get it across the line either, as Sire gets the block and continues the transition downfield. They've got the demo on Frieza. They'll leave it for a teammate to push it off the backboard. Loki does just that, and Sire now leaving it for Lalu, who's got the the wall ball control. All of Ichor Ares' saves have been lucky. I mean, they've made a few diving attempts into the net, so there's certainly something to be said about their positioning. It could be a little bit better. The rotations could be a little bit tighter. But ultimately, they are getting there in time. And even then, even if Ichor Ares' saves are a little bit lucky, they are getting stretched. And that only helps Exploit on the offense. But we talked a little bit about the Exploit season. Let's see how Ichor Ares has done. We were going to talk about them until they started getting absolutely demolished in game number 3. But they've got the freeze attempts. Taterwit is their sub at the moment, and Worden. Now, we did see Taterwit join the lobby earlier, so there is the possibility that they could be brought on if things get dire for Ichor Ares. There's always that option for them. But for Ichor Ares, they are 6-2, not nearly as high scoring as Exploit, although Exploit had played all of their series to completion, whereas Ichor Ares do have a number of forfeits littering their season. As Seer is able to make it a second goal for Exploit, and they will double their lead in game number 4. They look likely to go to match point unless Ichor Ares can string a couple goals together in the late stages and bring this game back to evens. Worden should have a shot on target here. Looks for the back post, but it's wide of everybody, including the Exploit defenders. We're going to struggle to bring it out, or at least it looked like. But Sire combines well, goes for a goal, and it's off the hood of Temps, who almost continues the redirect, but is ultimately able to push it away from the net. And now they're on the transition. Seer trying to cut it out early. Goes for the somewhat strong dive on the interception, but is able to find it, and the orange team, they're on offense once again. Dangerous touch from the blue defenses. Temps and Worden getting a little bit shaky now. The only reason they lost that one game to them in week 2 is because they had to use a sub, I'm pretty sure. For who? Are you talking about Exploit? Okay, well, that's a bit strange, Matt, because Exploit doesn't have any subs on their roster, so either you're mistaken or somebody did something they weren't supposed to. And actually, I'm looking at these teams now, and I realize that it is actually Div 11 that we're looking at. I didn't update the I just didn't update with the proper overlay, so that one's on me again. See if I can actually find that. There we go. Found the correct overlay, and there it is. Tier 2 Division 11 is the proper bracket that we're watching action from right now, and we've got Exploit up 3 games to 1. They're going to go in search of that all-important 4th goal. Let's see if they can find it, or if Ichor Ares are going to put on a strong showing to show that they are very much still in this series. Loki going for the early double tap, does find it. It's not on target, and Seer's not able to come in quickly enough. Oh, the Frieza! That is not the shot you want to be seeing from the Frieza right now. Went for something that was a little bit stylish, but the net was so open for Ichor Ares. Just a solid touch towards the net would have been enough to beat the defender who's trying to trail back, but Frieza thought it was a little bit too free, I suppose. Went for some style points, and these teams, they still find themselves at 0-0. And they are going to be ruining that chance now, as Exploit have turned it around. Lalu and Loki double committing, but then, or I'm sorry, Loki and Seer were double committing, and then it's Lalu that puts it across the face of the net, and Seer finishes the play off. So Ares, they need to be clinical. Even in game number 3, where they got beat 9-2, what was it, 2? I believe? 9-2. Ichor Ares still had 8 shots. But their finishing was just not as good as Exploit's. And although 9 goals from 12 shots is highly unsustainable, it still kind of shows the path that Exploit has taken. They've just been very good on the offense. They finish off these plays. Ichor Ares, we can't really stay the same for them. Frieza, best striker, NA, what do you mean? Well, while that still could be true, I mean, I don't even think Frieza wasn't even the top scorer on this Ichor Ares side, although it was Taterwit that was the top scorer, and maybe they're more of a sub, so maybe that explains. There's just a lower sample size. But looks like Ichor Ares is kind of falling apart. It's a fair assessment, Rashis, but there is still a little bit of time left for Ichor Ares to rectify themselves, to prove to everybody one final time why they deserve to be fighting for a first place spot in the Indie Gaming League Grand Finals. And I'm sure, and whoever ends up winning this match will deserve it, and whoever ends up losing still deserves a spot in the top 4. We've seen good things from both of these teams, and I know I've seen it from Ares. I think we've casted for them not a couple times this season previously. And they will, even if whichever team loses, they do still have that chance at a 3rd place trophy, at a bronze trophy. But Ares, they do need to put together some really good plays in the next 2 minutes, because this Exploit defense hasn't looked particularly vulnerable really at any point during this series. Game number 1, they dropped the goal within the first like minute and 15 seconds, and then it was 2 quickfire ones that got them back into it, and that's going to be a 3rd goal for Exploit, and they're really starting to challenge Ichor Ares to see how long this team can last. There's not much time left to get 3 goals. 2 minutes is still a good amount, but the way that it's looking, it's going to take some phenomenal plays from Ichor Ares to turn this around. Well, Temps, can they finish this play off? Oh, the double tap. The follow from Temps was just a little bit too high. And Temps, this follow-up as well, also going too high. They just cannot buy goals. This Ichor Ares side. Game number 2 was a 1-goal win. Game number 3, they only found 2. I want to say, I kind of forgot what the game 4 scoreline was, but it wasn't all that much better. It wasn't a significant improvement. Easy to come back from the 3-goal loss? Absolutely. It is very possible to come back from a 3-goal loss, or from a 3-goal deficit. I would never consider 3 goals until maybe the final 30 seconds to really be a secure scoreline. But it is concerning for Ichor Ares because they need to make something happen quickly. Let's see, the Freeze is going to push it down towards the orange side. They're not going to be able to get the follow themselves. They might have a tap down for their teammate, but it's Loki who gets up very quickly. I think they got... Oh, they're going for a flip reset. I think they might have got a ceiling. Might have at least touched the ceiling at least. Loki going for the follow-up. The slow play doesn't find the back of the net for a 4th goal. That would almost certainly put this out of reach. Loki, all these pop-up touches, drawing time off of the clock and making it so much more difficult for Ichor Ares to get back into it. And finally, Exploit will get this 4th goal, and that will be the nail in the coffin and will sign, seal, and deliver Exploit's invitation to the grand finals of Tier 2 Division 11 of the Indie Gaming League circuit. And Lalu will find a 5th goal as a consolation. 2 goals and 2 assists for Lalu. A huge game for them and for everybody on Exploit as they confirmed their spot in the grand finals. A convincing one as well, which says a lot about them. For Exploit, they dropped the reverse fixture during week number 2, I think it was, as a sweep. Ichor Ares has had a fantastic season, but unfortunately they were not able to get the better of Exploit this time around. And oh my goodness, that kind of sums up the Frieza and everyone from the blue side, their night so far. So many good chances, just not able to put the finishing touch. Let the members of the game at the end let them know that Trovo says GGWP everyone. Well, I do have the restream bot going, so hopefully you're able to see everyone else's messages, Rashes. If you're not, let me know, but restream bot should be transferring them over, but I will say it anyways. For those of for everybody watching on Trovo, they do say GG, well played to both teams for the match tonight. But for Ichor Ares, they've had a fantastic run so far. They are 6-3, but wins over Battle Royal, Swagonators, Exploit, Mos Eisley, Champlain College, and the Undustables got them to this point. And some of those pretty close games as well. Their loss against Trident Gaming was a 3-. I see. The match against, but the week 2 match between Ichor Ares and Exploit was a forfeit loss. I didn't recognize that the first time. So maybe that explains a little bit of the difference that we saw. But Ichor Ares, one of their losses this season was against Trident Gaming. It was 2-3. And then let me bring it back to my camera. And Worden, thank you for the follow. GG's, well played in the series tonight. And Ares, their other loss was against the Leftovers, and that was a double forfeit. So not really much that we could go off there. But for Ichor Ares, their season is not over just yet. They still do have a chance to redeem themselves in championship. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. They do have a chance to redeem themselves in the final weekend of the circuit. And let me get this this bracket up real quickly so everybody can take a peek at. Oh, right. This is Division 7. We need Division 11. Let's see. Summer 1, RL, East, Div 11. Alright, there we go. So, the Undustables coming in as the number 1 seed and getting knocked out by Ichor Ares, the number 8 seed, who had a very tough matchup with Champlain College to get to two, really, back-to-back very close series to get to this point. So, Ichor Ares already deserving of a top 4 spot. Now, they came in as the 4 seed. That forfeit win didn't help them. They probably could have had a slightly easier run with a better seed, but they've took down Mos Eisley. They were confident against Ancient Sugons, taking that sweep over the number 5 seed. And they've just taken down Ichor Ares as well. But coming in from the bottom half of the bracket, we've got Intercept, Umi, and Empire Crumbles. And actually, we'll take a look and see if those teams have played yet. Reload the browser real quick. So, yes, so they're currently 8-0. They have not played against Empire Crumbles, but that match is scheduled to be on Guiltane's stream. He's a fantastic caster, by the way, so I highly recommend checking out this matchup. Number 1 seed, or I'm sorry, not number 1 seed, probably number 2 seed. Number 2 seed Intercept Umi taking on number 6 seed Empire Crumbles, and they've already taken down the number 3 consistently inconsistent. So this should be one heck of a matchup. And with Guiltane's behind it, I really recommend all of you go check it out. If anything, to just get some knowledge on what these two teams look like and who you're going to be playing next week. But we've got Ichor Ares coming into this bronze match. They'll still have one last opportunity at a trophy. And the Exploit will move into the top 2 where they will be guaranteed a trophy. All that needs to be settled is what color it's going to be. And so that is how that division is shaking up. And both of these teams, fantastic seasons so far. They still got one more week to show us what they've got and do the best that they can and make all of the wonderful fans who came into the chat tonight. So proud for all of you who came to view it. Thank you for coming out. It's always nice seeing people in the chat hyping up their teams, being supportive of themselves, of their team and their opponents as well. So GG's well played to both sides. I am hungry. So let's find out who's streaming tonight. And to the 9 of you who have followed. Oh, and also we are going to pay out that contest. Let me do that real quick as well. Where did that go? Yep, so Exploit, the winner. 40% of all bets were in favor of Exploit. Or I'm sorry. So 2 out of the 5 bets were for Exploit, and only 12% of the pot. So those of you who bet, you made a tidy profit. Just so you know, your Restream bot is not posting anything to your Trovo chat. thank you for that, Rashist. I will definitely take a look into that because it should be. But thank you for letting me know. I'll be sure to take a look at it because that's supposed to happen. So, and likewise, Twitch chat should be able to see Trovo. They probably can't, judging on how it is, but yeah, at least I can see you. That's important. So I can always relay. But yep, Exploit, they took the match, so the people who bet for them took a healthy share of the pot. And for those of you who are on Twitch, I am going to send you all over to I didn't figure out who's back to Twitch. I didn't figure out who's still live right now. Oh my goodness, like tons of people. Jesus. Oh my god, yeah, there are tons of people playing right now. Let's see if Brokefang is, if their match is about to start. Oh my. Or if it's still going on once we get through this ad. But oh, they're about to go into game 5 between Buddy Man Dude and Rage Monsters. So for those of you on Twitch, I will send you over to Brokefang. And for those of you who are not on Twitch, on our other platforms, still love to have you all in. I hope you had a great time, and I hope to see you all again very soon. But that'll be the end from me. We'll be back again this weekend with something. I'm not quite sure what we'll have this weekend. We might have games, might just have a little bit casual streaming. I've still got a busy weekend, but we're gonna try to make some time for a stream. But until then, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night and a great Labor Day weekend. And until next time, have a great night.